You're listening to Inside Lebo, a podcast giving you an inside look at Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, produced by Mount Lebanon's Public Information Office.
Hello and welcome to Inside Lebo. I'm your host, Assistant Municipal Manager and Municipal Planner Ian McMeans.
And I'm Assistant Public Information Officer and Senior and Online Editor Rachel Windsor.
Our guest today is Angie Phares, the President of Mount Lebanon Nature Conservancy.
Thanks for joining us, Angie. So how about we start with a discussion about the Conservancy's mission? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The mission is to promote, enhance the growth and careful use of green spaces and to foster appreciation and respect for the environment. So I always think of it as getting people outside and then teaching them a little bit more about outside.
That's great. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the recent projects that the Conservancy has worked on?
Yeah, we've taken on a big project in Bird Park. It's called the Riparian Zone, what's what we've called it. We got a grant from American Water, and we have put in so many flowers, shrubs, trees, taken out a whole bunch of invasives over the course of the past year, hired a local artist to commissioned her to do a mural about it, and that should be installed pretty soon, I think. And then we have our plant sale coming up. It just went live yesterday, and I think we've already sold out of 10 plants for the pre-sales.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes fast. We will have all of those plants at the live sale as well, which is May 18th, I think. It's a Saturday. Everything's on the website. We have School in the Park coming up, Earth Day. We've entered the busy time.
Yeah, it's the growing season.
It is literally the growing season, yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about like the School in the Park Day and Earth Day for people that might not be familiar with those events?
Sure. So School in the Park was the reason that the Nature Conservancy started about 40 years ago. We take every third grader in Mount Lebanon. Each school has a field trip for half a day. We run through 5 stations where they learn a little bit about each of the 5 ecosystems that are predominant in the park. We train all of the volunteers that lead those groups, and then we coordinate with the high school and get 70 high school students to come out and act kind of as helpers and chaperones to get the kids to and from each station. So when you add it all up, it's about 500 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a big project, and it's a lot of fun, and we usually get muddy and wet, but yeah, and the kids really enjoy it, and it's fun to see them getting muddy and wet too.
Sounds like things that third graders would love to do for a half a
day. Exactly, it is. It's really fun. Yeah,
that's great. So you mentioned the native plant sale and that you're already sold out of some plants. If people want to see what's available, what might be available on the May 18th plant sale, you said it's on your website. What's the website address?
Mm-hmm. It's lebonature.org.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And then are there order forms on there as well?
It's all online. So the way we work it is we do a pre-sale where you can just come and pick it up. Pay for it in advance, come and pick it up. Or if some people like to kind of see the plants first. And so that's why we have the live sale. We kind of do 2 different sales almost, but everything happens on that same day.
Gotcha. And that's outside the library?
No, that's outside the Unitarian Church.
Oh, okay.
We've partnered with them.
Yeah. Okay, further down Washington Road.
Yep.
But
Yep.
still very accessible to the
very
community.
accessible,
Yes.
and it's got that nice round driveway, so you
Yes.
can kind of come through it. This is our 3rd year doing the plant sale, and the past 2 years it has rained a lot. So I'm hoping that we might get a different weather forecast for this year.
Cool.
Well, that's great. I mean, it really seems like you guys are all over the place in Mount Lebanon. So, could you tell us a little bit about why it is that an organization like the Conservancy is so important in a community like Mount Lebanon?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, Mount Lebanon is an older community, so it's pretty well built out. We're blessed in that it is still really green. There's hardly a drop of land that doesn't grow something, whether we want it to be that thing that it's growing or not. But and it's important to have those natural green spaces, not just things that are cultivated or mowed, or those kind of wild spaces are really important for ecosystems, for our health, and getting people outside. My background is in healthcare, And recently I've been reading a lot about how one of the most beneficial things you can do for preventing disease is get outside. So it kind of all came full circle when I started to read some of those articles that, there's a reason that I'm tied to this, I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like just, living here observationally, that in the kind of post-COVID world, a lot more people are getting out to the parks, taking walks in the neighborhood, that when we did the comp plan surveys, I think like 97% of our respondents said they took a walk in their neighborhood occasionally. And when we did the Parks Master Plan, Bird Park was right there with Main Park, 1A, 1B for kind of what are the most visited parks in the community. So there's always people, trying to get out and experience nature, whether it's actually in the parks or just walking around their neighborhoods or doing other things. We do have a very active community. So I agree. I think this is a very important thing for our town to have something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. COVID was awful, but we did get a lot more volunteers and a lot more people interested because it was something that you could do fairly safely.
That's great. Well, I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about the volunteer aspect of it.
Sounds good.
We are back with Angie Phares, the president of Mount Lebanon Nature Conservancy. So, as we were talking about before the break, you mentioned that there's a lot of volunteers involved in the organization. So, is it all volunteers or who serves on the board?
Yep, nobody gets paid. We have a very small budget. We're entirely funded by donations and the plant sale. So we have 17 people on the board, including, as well as, in addition, we have 2 high school students. We kind of took the commissioner's approach of the junior board member, and I think this is our 3rd or 4th year that we've had them. We have a really great group of students this year. So everybody's a volunteer, nobody gets paid.
Nice. That's really cool how you're able to involve people at all different levels too, that you have the, semi-professional staff of the board members, and then you have the high school students who help with the board, but also you get all the high school students involved with the, helping in the school and the park day all the way down through like the 3rd graders. It's a really nice sort of all-inclusive, holistic approach that you all take. So if someone out there is listening and would like to join the Nature Conservancy's board, is there like a rotation of seats? Is there a way for them to get involved? What would be the process?
Totally. We have a couple of openings right now because a couple of people have found out that they're moving. So if you are interested in joining the board, you can go on the website and there's a contact us. Let us know if you're interested. There really aren't any requirements. So we could fill a spot right now. Otherwise, we generally start the process for new board members in about September. And then they get not inaugurated, but voted in our annual meeting in December.
Cool. And what about if people just want to volunteer or maybe come for like a one-time event? Is that something that you guys offer outside of like having a board position?
Yeah, that's most of what people do. So there are a lot of ways to be involved. You can flat out give us money. That goes a long way to buying some of the things that we need. You can show up and volunteer your time and being in the parks. You can just attend our programs. We have a lot of programs that we do. And you can be on the board. You can also, anybody can come to the board meetings. You don't have to be on the board. They're open to everybody. They're held at the libraries the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and it's all on our website as well.
Cool. Great. So anything else that you would like people to know about the Conservancy? Anything else coming up? You mentioned the May 18th plant sale at the Unitarian Church, information on lebonature.org. And if people want to volunteer, that's a good way to find out, other things that are coming up. It's look on the website as well. Anything else? Any other parting ideas or things you'd like people to know?
We always try to tailor what we're doing by who has good ideas, So if somebody has an idea for something and they have a lot of energy and they want to do it, just approach us. We had some people who wanted to do yoga in the park, and so we did. We're open to all kinds of ideas.
Cool. Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today, Angie. We really appreciate it. And that is it for this edition of Inside Lebo, produced by Carrie Monod, with music by Drew Monod and graphics by Chris Leeper.
We'll be back soon with another episode of Inside Lebo. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for listening to Inside Lebo, produced by Mount Lebanon's Public Information Office. Learn more about all things Lebo at mountlebanon.org or by following our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages.